I had to calm down after that. For me, the worst films of 2017 video because I was, yeah. But probably by the time you see this, it will be the first of the year. Here's hoping 2018 will be a better year. But I will say, you know what, 2018 did have its bad movies, but for me, honestly, I would say it was a pretty damn good year for movies. At least for me, because there's quite a bit of movies I really enjoyed. To the fact that I got a top 15. And I'm gonna lean back a little bit. Again, after that fucking worst of 2017, I was ready to have a heart attack. So sit back, relax. I'll do a top 10 about. It was very hard because I'm like, do I put this above? Do I put this below? Fuck, I'll just say top 15. Why not? Be a little bit different. 15 is Happy Death Day. I liked the film okay. I thought the actress did a really good job in the lead. I liked her arc of overcoming her selfishness, overcoming and being a better person at the end. I thought that was handled fairly well because of the actress' performance. I like the idea of a Groundhog Day scenario, but with a slasher film aspect. I just wish the film had a bit more of an edge. I don't think it needed to be PG-13. And it's not really like the horror aspect was lacking. Like the killer's mask. I know it's a mascot for the college she's at, but it was too goofy, too silly. So there's certain aspects of the horror aspect I wish could have been better, but the idea and the lead actress's performance, at least, thought okay, this was a decent time waster. Number 14 was The Disaster Artist. Never saw The Room. I've had a couple of people ask me about that movie. I've seen clips of the film, but at this point to review The Room, what more could I bring to it that anyone and everyone hasn't already done? What more could I say? Well, it's a bad movie, but it's funny. Okay, everyone else has said that. I could tell just by the many clips I've seen that's the case. So what more can I say about it? I mean, if I see it all the way through, again, me talking about it would seem kind of redundant. But The Disaster Artist, I thought James Franco did a good job acting-wise. I think he definitely deserves some kind of Oscar nomination for his acting. Really liked him in 127 Hours, so that's still my favorite of his. But this was, he did a really good job as Tommy Wiseau. He's the one that definitely got laughs out of me. Ah, happy birthday. Some of the ways he delivers lines. Dave Franco did a good job as well. Seth Rogen, he's in the film for a teeny bit. Nice to see little cameos by Michelle. No, who is it? Sharon Stone and Melanie Griffith. Also, Bryan Cranston made a cameo. Kevin Smith and Danny McBride made cameos at the beginning of the film. That was a bit fun to see. And overall, while the film was, it's a bit more of a drama than a comedy, which I think was the intention of, so that's my fault, not the movie's. But the movie, I guess, wasn't as funny as I thought it would be. Like, laugh out loud hysterical. And it was like, okay, it's a bit hard to like this guy, Tommy Wiseau, but at the same time, James Franco's doing such a good job at I liked him for that. It was still an interesting story to watch, being told, of a, at the very least, an interesting character. Number 13 would be Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I liked the film. I felt it was a step down from the first one. I didn't think it was as funny as the first one. I thought some of the potty jokes were unneeded. It was like piss fart joke type of stuff. I don't think that was needed. I didn't care for the fact that the Guardians of the Galaxy, after the opening scenes, they're split up for most of the film. Like Rocket and Baby Groot are off doing their thing, and then they're off doing their thing, and even this group doing their thing. They split up more, so Zoe Saldana's doing her stuff, and Chris Pratt's with Kurt Russell, and I would like to have seen the Guardians more together, because it seems like they work best together as a group. But I really had fun with Kurt Russell, who becomes the villain. I really enjoyed Michael Rooker. He stole the show. Had a lot of good heart to that character. It was cool. It was cool to see Stallone in the film, and the brief moment Stallone and Michael Rooker together. It's like, ooh, a cliffhanger reunion. Being a sucker for cliffhanger. And the effects were fine, and the action scenes were fine. It's probably a film I want to give another watch to get more of my concrete thoughts. I just remember being a step down from the first movie, but overall having a good time with it. You know, having a fun time with the flick. I don't know, for some reason I remember Chris Pratt being alright in the film, but for some reason I remember him being kind of a step down from his role in the first movie. I don't know why. That thought just sort of popped in my head. And I didn't care for the antenna girl. Didn't really care for that character. But there were some fun jokes. For the most part, the primary characters still worked fairly well. The songs, the soundtrack, still fun to listen to. Baby Groot was cute. So, it was a good, entertaining time. Definitely better than The Last Jedi. Number 12, Fate of the Furious. I was going to put in the top 10, but I could not because I didn't care for the Han character being thrown away. That got stuck in my crawl. And it's still really weird that Jason Statham was the main bad guy ready to murder them. And now they're buddies. Kind of, yeah, pretty much buddies. I know that's why a friend of mine hated the film. Afri, he really hated the film. I can understand why. But I still thought this was miles better than the previous film. I thought the action scenes were miles better. I thought the car chase sequences, the action set pieces, especially the finale on the ice, I thought that was much better. I thought the movie flowed a bit better because they didn't have to deal with the unfortunate death of Paul Walker, which they had to redo things for the last movie. I liked The Rock in it. I thought it was the best role he had all year. I, Despite the weird turn of Jason Statham's character, I still like Jason Statham in the movie. Honestly, I liked him more in this movie than I did in Fury 7. It felt like he had more to do and more to play with. Like him and The Rock was my favorite part in the movie. And I know there's talks of The Rock and Statham doing their own film. I would gladly see that. Because that was the best part of the movie. Hell, the part that seemed the third wheel was the Vin Diesel. It seemed like he was just doing his own separate movie. That while The Rock and Statham to me was stealing the show. And I like Tyrese. I thought he was still fun. Kurt Russell. The prison sequence I thought was entertaining. The the scene Jason Statham has on the airplane where he's protecting this baby. I thought that was a fun action sequence. Sorry, my nose itches. Charlize Theron, I liked her as a villain. So there's a lot of elements I do like of Fate of the Furious, but just I think they could have done a better job where Statham all of a sudden, being a good guy and mention Han, man. Whether you like the character or not, come on, that's basic fucking storytelling. Even for a dumb movie like The Fate of the Furious. I also do feel they use more practical effects in Fate of Furious than Fury 7. Fury 7 seemed like they use a lot more CGI. Like the car going through all the fucking buildings and stuff. Here, seemed like they use a lot more practical stuff. Or Fury 7 when they're skydiving through the fucking air. But, it's a dumb movie, but I enjoy Fate of the Furious. I do think it was a step up from the last film. Sorry. 11, Baby Driver. This is another one I'm like, maybe I should put this in the top 10. I think what it is with Baby Driver, I do really enjoy the film. I think Edgar Wright did a wonderful job utilizing the music along with the action sequences. Yeah, I know Kevin Spacey can't really condone that, but I do think he did a good job acting wise, if I judge on that. Jamie Foxx, John Hamm, I believe is his name. He did a good job. The lead guy I was fine with. I will admit. Sorry about that. I will admit, a friend of mine told me that they were first looking at John Boyega as the lead. I think I would have been really more interested if it was John Boyega. Just the lead didn't bother me. Again, I know it bothered a friend of mine. It didn't bother me. But I thought he was fine. How do I put it? He was fine, but it's not like, oh, he was amazing, fantastic, yeah. It's just like, he was fine. He did what he had to. But if you plugged a different actor in there, if you plugged a Frank Grillo, a Carl Urban, an Aaron Eckhart, these are older guys, but take John Boyega maybe, see what he could do. I think that would have amped the film up a couple more notches since he is the lead. So it's one of those things like he's fine, but you've gone from fine to wow, or cool, or great. That's the best way I could describe it. But I still enjoy Baby Driver. That's why I put it at number 11. Now, number 10, Logan. I know I did a music video. My favorite films of 2017 so far. I've seen a couple films since then. Even that list, I kind of refigured some things. Because Logan, I had a bit higher, but then I'm like, you know what? I really enjoy the action scenes. I really enjoy the gore. Really enjoy the violence. I really enjoy Hugh Jackman's performance. I really enjoy the Western type of cinematography and feel. I really enjoy the performances of Patrick Stewart and the little girl. The relationship between Hugh Jackman and the little girl. It had some emotion, it had some heart to it. But there's just some things I get stuck in my craw that made it a bit lower on the list than I thought it was going to be. I still think it's the best Wolverine film to come out of the three movies. I still think it's a good movie. I don't care for how Patrick Stewart's character died. I don't care for the fact that it's like he didn't know. I still don't know, and that's probably the point of the movie. Because life is unfair, and never gonna get what you want. But it's like, did he know that Wolverine killed him or not, or that it was a clone? I guess the point is it doesn't matter, or hey, life isn't fair, or maybe he tells that thing about the boat because they were going to get a sailboat. It's funny, a friend of mine, Michael Keane, he didn't care for the film. And I liked it, he didn't care for it. But he mentioned something interesting where Patrick Stewart gives a speech, and he wishes Patrick Stewart gave that to the real Logan, not this clone. And I agree with that, because you could be dark and depressing, and then there are times where you get heavy-handed with it. I'm like, you're already heavy and dark when all the X-Men are dead. And you get the idea that it was Patrick Stewart accidentally doing that. I guess in the original story, I didn't read it, but I heard that Logan was the one who did it because some things made him think they were enemies, but then they changed that to Patrick Stewart's character, where because of old age sickness, he inadvertently killed a bunch of mutants. But you already have the X-Men dead. You already have this world where pretty much all the mutants are dead or gone. Like, you're already heavy enough, depressing as it is. How much more heavy-handed do you have to push that in? I might ease up a little bit. Like, give us some little stuff. Like, at least let Patrick Stewart's character say that bit to Logan. At least let him have that one moment of not synchronicity, but not revelation, but one moment of I don't know how to word it, positiveness, one moment of one little ray of sunshine. It's the best way I could describe it. Before hell breaks loose. And that's so I didn't care for how they killed off Xavier's character. People get pissed. I honestly thought it worked better in X-Men 3. People disagree, and I disagree with you. I didn't care for that. I don't care the fact it was a Wolverine clone. Because, like, yeah, again, the sort of the heavy-handedness. Yeah, I get it, because it's a physical representation of the animal of Wolverine that he's been fighting all this time, and can he really beat the literally physical representation of his beast inside him? You could have had the same thing, but it'd be like Sabretooth. Hell, if you can't get Liev Schreiber, get Tyler Mane, which would have brought sort of a full circle with the first movie. They had a fight, and they didn't even end the fight. It wasn't like a Cyclops or someone blew him out of the Statue of Liberty. Which I never even thought that character was dead. Because it's like, I guess so. Because the X-Men Origins Wolverine is a prequel. I think that would have worked out better. And if you don't have Wolverine die, at least let him get the last hit. At least let him grab the gun and shoot the clone himself. I mean, at least give him his final moment. Not just, I got the shit kicked out of him, then I got impaled, let the girl do it. Like, come on, man. That's what I mean, like, give people some nuggets. Or in fact, you know what? He didn't even have to die. He could have gone off with the kids, and now he's going to be the Xavier. Doesn't mean it has to be another school. Doesn't mean it has to be another X-Men. But just care for them like it's Xavier cared for him. You know, the warrior beast now being a caregiver teacher. That would have been just, to me, that would have been a better ending for me. And don't give me, but they would make a sequel. Didn't you just say no? Say no, this is how it is. Just say no. Just have him walk off in sunset. It's okay. It's alright. So, moments like that bug the fuck out of me. But like I said, the violence, the action, the R rating was very well done and fun to watch. Hugh Jackman did a great job, performance-wise. So did the little girl. So did Patrick Stewart. Like I said, great cinematography. They should have had that music from the trailer for the end credits. Like, they have Johnny Cash, but it's like another song. They should have had the "What Have I Become?" The Hurt song. That should have been the end credits song. But there's still a lot I like, so that's why it's number 10. Number 9 is Thor Ragnarok. I enjoyed the movie. Yeah, I wish Hulk was used better. I don't think it needed as much comedy as it turned out. But, you know what? I had a lot of fun with the movie. I liked Chris Hemsworth. I thought, it was cool to see Jeff Goldblum in there. Mark Ruffalo, I thought, did a good job. The action scenes were fun. Using the song from the teaser. Not once, but twice. That was very entertaining. Sort of a crowd pleaser moment, both those scenes. At times it felt as if they were going for a Flash Gordon vibe. It was very colorful. Which I'm all for. Because for the most part, I want to just be entertained and have a great time at the movies. I thought Thor Ragnarok did that. I like I guess the voice was the director, but the sort of, what the hell was his name? Like stone rock type of guy. I thought he was pretty funny. And there were quite a few moments that made me chuckle. It was cool to see Doctor Strange in there and his little cameo. I thought Kate Blanchett did a good job as the villain. I mean, the villain itself, writing-wise, not much. But acting-wise, I thought Kate Blanchett pulled it off as the villain. And the movie was just meant to entertain. I thought it was a lot better than Thor 2. Because that was so boring and hurt. This, at least, it was pretty damn entertaining. So, I do wish Hulk was used more. I wish the Planet Hulk storyline didn't go to waste. Because, come to find out, people told me Universal owns Hulk rights. So, Marvel cannot do a standalone Hulk without Universal's permission. Which I thought was weird. So, they don't really own the Hulk, but they kind of do. Alright. So, the Planet Hulk stuff was disappointing. That's why it's a bit lower on the list. But still, as a Thor movie, I thought Chris Hemsworth did a good job, and he was a lot of fun, kicking ass, some cool music. Yeah, I had fun. Number 8, The Kingsman 2, The Golden Circle. I just reviewed this film, so I don't know what more I could say. It's weird. Sometimes you have movies that you have less problems with, and you enjoy, and you have a movie where you have more problems with, but the stuff you enjoy a lot. So even though you had next to no problems with this, you have a lot of problems with this, but this you enjoy a certain amount, and the stuff you enjoy here you enjoy so much that it overcompensates. That's where the Kingsman 2, The Golden Circle, even though I have issues with the pacing, the length of the movie, even though I have issues where I wish the lead, Edgerton, as Edgsy, had more to do, especially in the middle section, and there's not really a standout action scene like the church scene in the first movie. There's a lot of stuff that worked well. It was a good-looking movie. Really liked the look of the film. I liked some of the imagination. Julianne Moore's 50s diner type of a town in the jungle, killing a person by putting him in a meat grinder and making a burger out of him and making someone eat it. Her robot dogs. Elton John got some chuckles out of me. They gave him this antidote. Get the fuck out of my room. The cast did a good job. Cool to see Colin Firth. Thanks to this movie and continuity, the character lives. So when I watched the first film, I'm like, okay, he doesn't die. That's cool. The character of Merlin, played by Mark Strachan, his last scene is beautiful. With the song Country Road, just beautiful, man. Beautiful. The action scenes are very well done, especially the finale. The guy who's sort of like a young Burt Reynolds, I thought he did a good job. Even the plot was somewhat interesting with people who took drugs are sick, and then the president's like, oh, well, fuck them. They are criminals. They took the drugs in the first place. Fuck them. Like, the way they did that plot was a bit unique. I appreciate that when we see so many things done over and over again. So, on the flip side, you did not need Channing Tatum. Halle Berry was underused. But there's a lot that I did like about the Kingsman 2. Not as good as the first one, but I liked it. Now, number 7 is Get Out. Get the fuck out of my car. Great movie. To me, the best horror film of the year. A lot of critics agree. I don't know what the fuck was the deal with that award show calling it a comedy. Was it Golden Globes? Someone's like, it was like nominated for best comedy, but Get Out is not a comedy. That's how stupid people are. At times it's funny because of the lead guy's buddy, but it's not a comedy. It's like a really good episode of The Twilight Zone. That's the best way to describe it. I thought the acting was on par with the other great horror movies. Satisfying conclusion. It does tackle on issues of race, but in a very interesting way, especially when you find out what's going on within the plot, which was a bit unique. I appreciate that. Yeah, the comeuppance of some of these characters were nice. Some of the visuals, like the visual being sinking down, a bit creepy. Some really creepy visuals of the darkness, so to speak, the void, which is better than the movie I saw called The Void. I don't know what more can I say about Get Out that hasn't been said. That was, for a guy who never directed horror before, I mean, one of the Key and Peele guys, very surprising, very commendable job, I must say. 6, The Hitman's Bodyguard, had a lot of fun with this movie. Very entertaining movie. I had a ball with the flick. I thought Ryan Reynolds and Sam Jackson worked very well together. Just balls out with the R rating. Patrick Hughes, this is the guy who did Expendables 3. Where the fuck was this guy for Expendables 3? It's like this is a different guy directing it. The action scenes are well done, especially the boat/motorcycle chase on the canal. Also, before the finale, where they both try to get to this courtroom, and Sam Jackson is fucking these guys up from his car while Reynolds is in this foot chase, which leads into this kitchen, and then leads into this. I forget what the other, like, not a sports room, but hardware store? It was something like that. But that was pretty well done, well choreographed fight sequences, good amounts of humor throughout. Selma Hayek was a lot of fun. She was a ballsy type of character. Some fun usage of music, like when you find Ryan Reynolds and the girl he likes, how they first met, and the song they used during that scene. Some fun lines of dialogue. It was nice to hear the old "fuck you" and the horse you rode in by Ryan Reynolds. Right when he's about to get into a van filled with nuns. So, very good back and forth chemistry between Ryan Reynolds and Samuel Jackson. That's a movie I want to pick up sometime for my collection. I really enjoyed that movie a lot. That was a lot of fun. They worked very well together. That's why it's number 6. Number 5, Consco Island. Critics kind of roasted that film unfairly. It's funny, people go, oh, there's not much character development. Well, you know what? Earlier today, I watched the original King Kong, which I love. I've seen that since I was a kid. That film doesn't have character development either. Okay, you think Fay Wray has character development? She's a girl that gets found, and she's like, okay, I'll be an actress. I study a little bit. Where are we going? Okay. You think Bruce Cabot's character has character development? He's a sailor. Doesn't like women. Then he does like this woman. Falls in love. But people want to complain about character development in Consco Island. Did you see the original King Kong? And I really enjoy the original King Kong. I'll review that when I start the little con marathon, thanks to Cody. He sent me a bunch of stuff. But, this whole other thing is bullshit, in my opinion. I love the way the director made the film look. It was lush. It was just a beautiful... I don't know if I want to say cinematography, but the way he worked the visuals... Like, usually, filters look like shit, but this was, the opposite. It looked very lush, like a comic book version of a King Kong movie. And the action scenes were a lot of fun, and I could tell this director put his heart into it, and he just wanted a fun Vietnam King Kong movie. That's really what it is. I know a long time ago I made this shitty joke of, you can't go wrong with Viet Cong. This is really what it is. It's a Vietnam King Kong movie. And I never thought those words were... It's like, I think someone said it best. I never thought this would be a movie I want to see until I'm like, man, why did they never do this before? Hell, they have a King Kong movie from the 70s. 76. And it just worked very well. I thought the actors did fine in their job, especially John C. Reilly. He was really likable in that. People want to talk about character development. That character has more development than Fay Wray and Bruce Cabot in the original King Kong movie. Yet people want to complain about character development. I don't understand that. The action scenes were entertaining. There were some gruesome moments, like the spider laid through the mouth that looked like something out of Cannibal Holocaust. When King Kong ripped the guts out from my only nitpicks... John Goodman could have been in the film longer. He could have been stretched out throughout more of the film. I wish the lead guy, who is Loki, Tom Hiddleston, I wish he had a bit more to do. I mean, he has a nice scene where he's, using a sword. But I wish he had more stuff to do. Like, more reason as for why they brought him here in the first place. That's probably the one issue. Because I know some people had problems with him. I can understand that. I wonder if you cast someone else like, like Aaron Eckhart or Carl Urban or Jason Statham or something of that nature, if people would say the same thing. But at least it would have been nice to see him given more to do physically. To make us go, that's why they went out and hired this guy. Ah, I see. Because you vaguely get that in the movie. So I would say that's the main issue I have with it. But still a fun time at the movies. Still a very entertaining film. Load of fun. Now, number 4 would be a film called Bright. Yes, that's how much I enjoyed it. This whole bullshit going on with critics going, it's racist. Oh, but Finn acting like a goofy fucking minstrel. Which, once again, I didn't say that. People who I know who happen to be black said it. And I agree with them. He's a goofy motherfucker who gets 90% of his friends killed along with Rose because he's a moron in The Last Jedi. Or Kevin Hart in Jumanji 2. Oh, I'm short. Yeah, where's the 2 feet of my body? I ate some cake and I blew up. I rode an elephant and I said zoology, bitch. But no one's complaining about Kevin Hart. Will Smith is so bad, but Kevin Smart. Bright, I really enjoy. It's a take on Alien Nation. And you know what? I appreciate that. Instead of doing a remake of Alien Nation, I would rather you do a movie like this. I had an entertaining time. It was like Street Teens, David Ayer's Street Teens. That down level, ground level. I think it was so refreshing considering all the CGI orgasm fest. Even for films I like, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and Thor Ragnarok, and films I didn't like Justice League and Jumanji 2, Wonder Woman. It was nice to see something a bit more grounded and R-rated and kind of a, this I would call a throwback to a film in the 90s. 80s was pushing it, but 90s. Like this would I would call a throwback. It was nice to see Will Smith in that R-rated tone that I haven't seen since Hancock or I think Hancock was rated R. I haven't seen it in a while. Or the Bad Boys movies. I thought Will Smith was really funny. I thought there were some really funny lines. To your Shrek-looking ass, back to Fiona. How the fuck do you make a gunfight awkward? I thought Will Smith was on the ball. I liked Joel Edgerton and his character, who had a certain innocence about him. I thought they both worked very well together on the chemistry. I liked the orcs and elves, and someone did point out there was a dragon in the movie. You see, like in the background. I'm like, man, I want to know more about that dragon. If you do a sequel, I want dragons, I want unicorns. I want a unicorn that say, you fuck with me, I'm going to stick this horn up your ass, and I want a dragon. Hell, let a dragon be the boss. You know. Light some fire up your ass, Foley. Don't fuck with me, Axel. Make my tail itch. You fuck with me, Axel, I'm going to burn your ass. Literally. See, that's what I mean. Like, you do have a lot of fun with that. So, they won't do that, but I'm just saying. That's what I would do, and no one would watch the movie. But, I liked the action scenes. I liked the There's slow-mo, but I thought the slow-mo here was used better than Wonder Woman. I thought this was used effectively. Wonder Woman, it was used ineffectively. It was just, it got on my nerves. And there wasn't much slow motion here as there was in Wonder Woman. I mention that because I know someone complained about that. I thought the pacing was well done. I thought the score, especially the music, I liked a lot of the songs, especially one called Home. Really liked that song. By the end of the film, I smiled. I like the bits of violence that took me a bit off guard. It's like, oh yeah, this is rated R. It's cool. I like the look of the film. So that ground, down, almost weirdly grounded movie. I know some people get mad. It should be bigger. There's too many big movies. I appreciate certain movies that are grounded. You got big movies. You got fucking Justice League and Marvel and Star Wars and DC and all this other shit. Fate of the Furious, you got all this stuff. The one issue I had, and that's the thing, with every film I liked, you could find plot holes. Like, I know someone mentioned to me, like, I love John Carpenter's The Thing. And then someone would mention to me, well, why do they have flamethrowers? I go, I don't know, maybe they de-ice some stuff. Then the person told me, that's bullshit. I'm like, whatever. I don't care. I love John Carpenter's The Thing. Fine, they have flamethrowers. Fuck it. Why can't they make a flamethrower in Alien? Why didn't they flamethrowers in space? I don't know. I just like it. See, if you like the film, you'll forgive stuff. I think that's why every movie has a fan. Every movie has a fan because there's not such a thing as a perfect movie. I don't care what movie you choose, you don't find stuff that's like, well, wait a minute, what about that? I don't care what movie you choose. I love the original Star Wars. But is it easy to defend? But don't you do some power converters? No. I still love Star Wars. I still like Mark Hamill. I like the original Star Wars. But anyway. Bright, I don't think it deserved the bad rap it got. The worst film of Will Smith's career? Okay, fine. Me and you don't have a marathon, buddy. And we're going to watch After Earth 2 times in a row. Then we're going to watch Collateral Beauty. We're going to watch Focus, or whatever the fuck that movie was. We're going to watch Wild Wild West, Men in Black 2. What the fuck? Jersey Girl. He had a cameo in that. What was the fucking movie he did where he was like the devil? With Colin Farrell? It was some weird fantasy movie, but not. It's yeah, pretty much fantasy. Came out Winter's Tale, something like that. It's a weird ass movie. Let's watch those movies. Let's watch After Earth. Please, let's watch Suicide Squad. I know some people like Suicide Squad more. I disagree. We agree to disagree. I thought this was better paced. I thought it was much better edited wise than Suicide Squad. I liked some of the songs. I liked the camaraderie between the two. You did elements of the world, but yeah, I would like to see more creatures. But at the same time, I was kind of fine that they weren't so in your face. Again, I just would like to see more creatures. But as for the world itself, I got bits and pieces that can make me make up my own views on how this place works. But that's why I hope they do a sequel. Apparently there's plans to do a sequel with Will Smith on board, and I look forward to that. Hopefully they don't fuck it up, but who knows? A lot of times they announce sequels and nothing comes up of it, so for all I know, they'll cancel it because of all the negativity. If you don't like the film, to each their own, but in a year with The Last Jedi, and Call of Chucky, and Jumanji 2, and Alien Covenant, and Leatherface, and Baywatch, and Worst. I. You know what? I flipped through the Emoji Movie. I found it for free somewhere. I didn't bother watching it. I watched bits of it. I gave up. That's why I didn't put it, because I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Movies like that come out this year. Or Mother, which I've heard nothing but the worst things about Mother. Mother sounds like a motherfucker. Just from what I heard. Or Moontrap 2, Tartar Earth, which I know my friend Michael loved. My friend Michael Key, if you're watching, I know that's your favorite film of the year. So, go to MLKKEF Enterprises and ask him how much he loves Moontrap 2, Tartar Earth. He'll tell you how much he loves it. Again, it's Michael Keane, aka MLKKAEF Enterprises. Tell him that Matt, Remember Afterlife, says you love Moontrap 2, Target Earth. See what his response is. But Bright, I had a lot of fun with. I enjoyed the action scenes. I enjoyed the dialogue. I enjoyed the world. I enjoyed the different take on alienation. And I like Alienation. That's a one. That's a film critics hated too. Now that I think about it, Alienation critics hated that movie, but now they're like, "Oh, wow, Alienation is a classic." You didn't think that way? Actually, not many people still talk about Alienation, but even here, some critics are like, "Alienation was great, but this movie sucks." I'm like, you know what? You're the same type of critics that said the same thing about Alienation when that first came out. Oh, it's nothing. It's just a typical buddy cop movie. Just as an alien. Don't believe me? Take a look back at the reviews. But yeah, Brian I had a very good time with. 3, Kidnap. I know a lot of people have problems with it because they feel it's unrealistic. I disagree. Uh, Sometimes people describe it and I explain it and they're like, oh, whatever. And that's fine. To me, it's escapism. It's fun escapism of a mom trying to get her kid back any way possible. And you're right, it's not 100% realistic. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But I thought it goes at such a fast pace. I thought Halle Berry gave one of her better performances. I was not bored 1 second. It kept me interested to see what was going to happen next. I thought it was very well directed, and I thought they did a solid job editing it. It made me interested to see what would happen next. I just had a good, thrilling time watching that movie. Kidnap is my kind of movie. It's my kind of flick. A mother pissed off, wanting to do anything she can. And also just some of these credits, some of the things they say are outright fucking lies. Like, a person sent me a newspaper clipping. And I was going to do a video on it, but most people said don't bother, so I didn't bother. But some of the shit on that, like, literally one of his issues was, oh, this person gets hit and she doesn't care. Like, she doesn't care about anybody but herself. She shows no emotion. You're trying to find that fucking thing. Probably can't find it. Probably got pissed off. Yeah, I can't find the fucking thing. Not doing much looking, but oh well. Anyway, I remember I read it out loud in a video, and I said, that's bullshit. There's literally a moment where the bad guy hits a poor woman, and Halle Berry sees a car coming for her. She literally puts her car in here, blocks the car to save her, the person that's been hit, and even gets not bleeding on the head, not for a loose, trying to save this person. But she doesn't care about anybody. I'm like, okay, if you don't like the film, fine, but don't pull bullshit out of your ass. But anyway. Kidnap, I don't really get the big hate for it. I thought it was very fast paced. I thought it was very thrilling. I really like Halle Berry's performance. It was a simple plot, but sometimes I miss those kind of movies. I miss those just simple premises. Going all the way back to Duel. What's the premise of Duel? Very simple, but a lot of fun. I don't know, those appeal to me. The Yes, I can enjoy a film that's complex, but at least with a complex movie, you have a lot of stuff to work with. You have levels to work with. You have different themes and thoughts to work with. When you're simple, to me, it's much harder because of its simplicity. Because that's a line that a lot of people will just call boring, nothing, useless. But you have this one goal, you either achieve it or you don't. To me, it achieved. To most of the population, it didn't. But yeah. And thankfully, thanks to Canada, it is the full 95-minute version, not the 82-minute version. But yeah, I thought Kidnap was a lot of fun. Never understood the hate for that. Number 2 is Blade Runner 2049. If you wonder why I keep looking over there, some of the movies are over there. Like Colin Skull Island and Kidnap. Blade Runner 2049, it's sad this film bombed. The fact that The Last Jedi, despite it being a bullshit movie, it made $1 billion worldwide. It didn't get my money, thankfully. Because I'm like, Force Awakens. Someone actually, I didn't want to see The Force Awakens, and then someone said, hey, I'm going to offer you a movie ticket. And then what's funny, the same guy offered me a ticket for The Last Jedi. Sunset Bikini Shimmer, I think is the user's name. But I knew a lot of people asked me about the movie, so I already watched it for free. So I lost out on that. But if you're watching, thank you for the offer. But I made it here where if it's a movie I think we'll like, I'll see it in the theater. Like Blade Runner 2049. It was a wonderful movie theater experience. That and my number 1 were the 2 best movie theater experiences I had. That's why they're the 1 and 2. 1 is John Wick 2. You guys will already figured that out. If it's a movie I think or I know I'm going to like, I'm going to see it in the theater. If it's a movie I think I'm going to hate, I'm going to find it and see it for free. Otherwise, I'm not going to watch it. Yes, A, because I'm a cheapskate. I'll admit that. I am a cheapskate. B, I don't want to waste my money on a movie that I'm going to be pissed at for wasting my money on and get nothing out of it. And 3, I would not be watching these movies on my own volition. I would only be watching these movies to tear them apart for you guys. Because people seem to like them. So they would not have got my money anyway. I'm like, well, you would see it anyway. No, I don't. Why the fuck do I want to see a shitty Star Wars movie? That I already knew since The Force Awakens it would be shitty. I just didn't think it'd be that shitty. Because I said, what about all these questions? In The Force Awakens? Well, they don't answer them. Did they? No. Well, there you go. And yeah, there's always surprises, I'll admit that. But Blade Runner 2049. And by the way, if you think I'm right or wrong or whatever, it's still the way I'm going to do it. If it's a movie I'm pretty sure I'm going to like, I'll support it. If it's not, I'll find some other way. Because that's what they listen to. They listen to money. They listen to the dollar. That's why the last Transformers film I paid for was Transformers 2. Because Transformers 3, I didn't like what I was seeing, and I saw it for free, and I remember even trying to do a review like 4 times, and I'm like this, and then I deleted the review, and I try, and I delete the review, and I'm like, this movie sucks. It does suck. And I didn't even bother watching the last Transformers movie. Didn't bother at all. Just like, don't give them your money. That's why I didn't bother paying my money for those Ninja Turtle pieces of shit by Michael Bay. They deserve the flop. Last Jedi deserved the flop, but it didn't. But this flopped. You know, reminds me of Dread. Great experience to see Dread in the theater in 3D. Wonderful experience. Film bombed. Later on, oh man, why can't we get more movies like Dread? We wanted Dread 2. Because you didn't see the movie in the theater. Blade Runner 2049. I guarantee you, there are more videos people liking Blade Runner 2049 than hating it. At least not to the vitriol of The Last Jedi. On the flip side, The Last Jedi made $1 billion. Blade Runner 2049 did not make shit. Blade Runner 2049 was a much better movie. And if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm actually want to look up the box office for that. Because Blade Runner 2049, I liked the first Blade Runner. I would almost have to say I probably liked the second one more. I thought the main character had a bit more to him for the story than Deckard had in the first movie. I really like Ryan Gosling's performance. I think it's his best role since Drive. Harrison Ford, it would have been nice to see him do a couple stuff. Maybe at least give like Jared Leto one punch or something. That's one issue I have. I wish Harrison Ford had a bit more to do. But I thought the way his character ended was very sweet. A lot better than what they do with the Star Wars characters. And Ryan Gosling, no self-sacrifice, but very well done. Great usage of the music Tears in Rain. Thought the cast did a good job. You had Robin Wright, Dave Bautista. Beautiful, beautiful looking movie. The direction was very well done. You know, this is coming from... I did not like Arrival. I saw Arrival. I thought Arrival was boring as hell. Good looking movie, just boring as hell. This, though, I think it was longer than that, but I was much more invested. I really liked the world of Blade Runner. I really enjoyed the sets, not sets, the set, the special effects. I like the music. Some people are iffy on the music, but I really enjoyed the music. I would like to have heard a couple more Vangelis pieces, but I thought Hans Zimmer with Benjamin Wallfish. I thought the score was very well done. It's one of my favorite scores of the year, honestly. I really like the score. I would say, honestly, my favorite score of the year would be this movie. And the female replicant was a total hardcore bitch. It was cool to see Edward James Olmos in there. It's not meant to be an action film, but it's a great drama. It's a great science fiction movie. The relationship between Ryan Gosling and the hologram was touching. As a friend of mine called it, it was sort of a love story that you knew was not going to have a great ending to it, but that was effective. Let's say the performances were very well done. The Ryan Gosling, he's not going to get any award recognition. I guarantee that, which is sad. I think he should. I think this movie should, but it's not going to do anything with the Oscars. I'm glad Ridley Scott did not direct this, because I honestly think he would have fucked it up like he did with Alien Covenant. I'm sorry, that's what I feel. I liked The Martian. God, sorry about that. I keep fucking doing that. I know that's going to be annoying for people. I'm sorry about that. I like the themes that was played off from the first film, but I thought it was even more effective with the replicant. Ryan Gosling's character, you felt sorry for him when you realized that you thought he was one thing and then he was really another thing. And that's sad that that wasn't the case. And by the end, he does gain a soul. It was very heartfelt. And Harrison Ford with his daughter character. I like the scenes with that daughter character that we see earlier and how she lives. The scene with Sean Young was very interesting because I don't know how the hell they did that. It looked just like Sean Young from the first movie. And it really made you feel for Deckard. It made you feel, because we didn't get to see his loss of Rachel, because Sean Young wasn't in the movie, but his reaction, Harrison Ford's reaction is like, well, that's how he looked. That's how he felt. So it showed that, yeah, Harrison Ford's character really did love Rachel. And I would love to have seen Jared Leto's character do a comeuppance. I think if Harrison Ford had a little bit more to do and he gave Jared Leto a comeuppance, maybe this would have been number one for the year for me. Just that little extra thing. Like, a little bit more Harrison Ford, have him, like, punch Jared Leto and shoot him in the face or something. So that's one issue I have. But other than that, I love the world. I love the look. I kept saying in my review, it felt like a real movie. It felt like a real film. It was a real movie. And you don't get a lot of real movies. Like, it didn't look like a filtered movie. It looked like a real movie. It looked like an epic movie that I would have, seen. I never got to experience Blade Runner 1 in 82. I wasn't even born then. But this is like seeing something like that on the big screen. And the music and the way the story and the themes and the performances. I really do feel like in time this movie is going to, it deserves to get more recognition. And, you would think all the times people are like, oh man, nowadays with Blade Runner, audiences are blah, 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 blah. They just didn't get it back then, but they get it now. They didn't give a fuck. I'm not trying to judge people who didn't see the movie in the theater. I'm not doing that. It's just me being like, what's this thing I keep saying all the time? I would love to see movies like this. They don't make movies like this unless people see them. But yet The Last Jedi is a piece of shit. Such a polarizing movie, and it still makes $1 billion worldwide. This movie, I think, I'm not pissed at people, I'm just pissed at the result. That's the best way to put it. $150 million budget, which is on the screen, and like how much did fucking Last Jedi cost? I want to see. How much did that fucking movie cost? Sorry, folks, but I have to. How much did that fucking movie cost? They got these fucking critics defending Last Jedi as if it's their mom. Oh, they don't say the budget. Maybe if I put budget. Okay, the figure they come up with was $200 million. So they say Blade Runner 2049 costs $150 million and Last Jedi costs $200 million. Blade Runner 2049 looks a lot better than The Last Jedi. I'll say that much. Blade Runner 2049, it costs less and it looks better. Last Jedi made $1 billion as a piece of shit. Blade Runner 2049, Last Jedi made 500 million so far in the U.S. Blade Runner, it made 91 million in the U.S. Worldwide, 258 million. Blade Runner 2049 made 258 million. That's a bomb. I know some people don't argue, but that's not a bomb, Matt. It cost 150 million and it made 250 million, so it made 100 million. Sadly, that's not how box office works. Because that 91 million in the US, the studio doesn't get that 91 million. They split it with the movie theater. So they get maybe, I don't know, 60, 50. I don't know how the exact. Is it 50-50 split, 60-40 split, 70-30 split? I don't know. And with Forum, they don't get every dime of that either. Plus, that probably doesn't count marketing. So let's say 200 million with marketing. Let's just say. Your posters, your trailers, anything else. Sending actors to talk shows, flying them out. I don't know how much, I'm just saying that. So it's a bomb. 258 million worldwide. But a piece of shit like The Last Jedi made over $1 billion and it's still going. That's why I feel glad that I gave Blade Runner 2049 my money. My hard-earned money. Last Jedi didn't get a fucking dime from me. And I'm glad for that. I'm not saying that to judge other people. I'm saying that for my own self-gratification. Are you proud of yourself? Yes, I am. No, seriously, I'm saying that because I'm just mad at the results. That's all. I'm just mad at the results. Because whether you think I'm right or wrong, I am passionate about movies, and I would love to see more movies like Blade Runner 2049 made. I'm not saying I need more Blade Runner movies. I'm saying more movies like that. And when they bombed that badly, like Cowboys and Aliens, I enjoyed that movie a lot. It bombed badly. That was another Harrison Ford movie. That happens a lot. And then we just get shit like Star Wars The Last Jedi, which critics defend, and these people write these articles defend as if the fucking Teen Arthur's men and they don't die on the sword for the motherfucker. Blade Runner 2049 deserves so much more. Pisses me off. And number one is John Wick 2. What more can I say about John Wick 2? I saw that, went into it blind, did not see a trailer, did not see a TV spot, and had a great time in the theater watching it. Loved it. That and Blade Runner. There were a lot of good times in the theaters. John Wick 2, Blade Runner 2049 were my two favorites. Loved it. So much fun. It was action-packed. I liked the look. I thought the look was a bit better than the first movie, where like the cityscape at the beginning of the film, the Hall of Mirrors, kind of like Enter the Dragon at the finale of the film. It was cool to see people like Lawrence Fishburne in there. The action scenes were well done. The sequence with the car and fighting people with hand techniques. The escaping, shooting all these people, going the tunnels with shotguns, machine guns. The finale. That was really entertaining. Hallway of Mirrors. I watched it again and the pacing didn't bother me as much as I did the first time. I would still say the villain is not as good as the first movie's villain. Which sadly the actor who played the villain in the first movie passed away. I do think the villain was a step down. At the same time, I did like Common. Common was really good. I liked his character. I liked his, I don't know if you call it back and forth, but his deal with John Wick. Of course, when all the assassins come after John Wick, and yet the pencil trick, the real pencil trick, not the fucking Joker one. This is the real pencil trick. Just so entertaining. It was good looking. It was funny. When John Wick and Common, they're shooting, but they're trying to be uh, let no one else aware of what they're doing. Definitely a hell of a way to end it. If you want to end it for people wanting more to see what happens next, that's a hell of a way to do it. Like the song at the end credits. Well shot. Keanu Reeves. Always been a fan of Keanu Reeves ever since the Bill and Ted movies, and love the movie Speed and Constantine and Street Teens, and I love all three Matrix films. I'm gonna review that sometime down the road. But yeah, I always been a fan of Keanu Reeves, and I think he did a great job in John Wick 2. John Wick 2 is my kind of movie. Action, like a throwback. Probably the best action hero we've gotten. Like Dredd, at least there was a comic of Dredd, but I mean like an original, as in not based on an existing character or book or remake. Probably the best action character. I'll say my favorite. My favorite action character in a long, long time. Just very satisfying. I know they're making a third one. I really hope that they don't fuck it up. Because I like the first two Blade movies. And yeah, Blade 3. I hope that's not the case. I really don't. Your fingers crossed. But I will avoid the trailers and watch that in the theater when it comes out. Just like I did with this one. So really, really enjoyed John Wick Chapter 2. When I left it, I'm like, yeah, I have a good feeling this is going to be my favorite movie of the year. And that was like in February. It still is. So overall, again, sort of a recap. 1, John Wick 2. 2, Blade Runner 2049. 3, Kidnap. 4, Bright. 5, Constant Island. 6, The Hitman's Bodyguard. 7, Get Out. 8, The Kingsman 2, The Golden Circle. 9, Thor Ragnarok. 10, Logan. 11, Baby Driver. 12, Fate of the Furious. 13, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. 14, The Disaster Artist. And 15, Happy Death Day. So, thanks for watching. Take care. Happy New Year. Stay safe. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.